One of the most scariest time I've had in my life was a day I was in Kibra Court. It is so scary. It was, and it was in a second or two, but it was so scary, more scary than the instances of Morocco in West Pokot, Turkana area and Elgeyo Marakwet. More scary than the shifters I confronted in Wajer and Mandera plus Garissa. This is what happened. I was giving evidence in the court. Uh, it was a robbery with violence. Those people who know Nyakenywa Road, you know where there is the Mormons Church, Jesus of the Latter-day Saints. Some people call it Kanisa ya Mashetani, but it is not Kanisa ya Mashetani. It is just that main churches wanted to malign the upcoming churches. So it is one of the churches that was maligned and the name stuck. But it is a Christian church like any other. So I was staying somewhere near there. And what happened one night was around 3 or 4 a.m. 3 or 4 a.m. We had gunshots. And I was staying in a wooden house. Hey, sometimes be praying for those people who stay in wooden houses and those who stay in mabati houses. Any fire, chances of fatal conclusions are very possible. So I was staying in a mabati house, not mabati, bao house, wooden house, and around 3 or 4 we a.m. in the morning, we had gunshots, and then we all went out of the compound. Just opposite our main gate, there was somebody lying down, and the person lying down was holding his stomach and crying. He was holding his stomach and crying, and he was saying, pikipiki yangu, pikipiki yangu. Those years, around 2008, yeah, around 2008, people are not used to calling, the boda boda was not the way it is today, and people are not used to calling them boda boda. So this fellow was holding his stomach, and he was crying, pikipiki yangu, in a very, very emotional way. So as we were looking, there was somebody there. I have forgotten him, but he was a Luhya by tribe. He looked at the fellow and told people, "Is this not mtu wa mahindi?" Uh, everybody there knew who mtu wa mahindi was, but I didn't. Somewhere near Mukaro, where Kinyanjui Road and Naivasha Road meet at near the hospital called Midhill. This fellow had started off as a maize roaster. Used to roast maize until he got money. He used to roast maize until he got money and bought a motorbike. So after struggling for very many years and getting a motorbike, it had been snatched from him. That's why he was emotionally crying, pikipiki yangu, while holding his abdomen. As we were preparing that way, I then called the then OCS rerouter. Told him on phone what had happened, and we were waiting for police Land Rover to come, or is it Land Cruiser? As we were waiting, you see, this motorbike thief had, after stealing the motorbike, he had taken a road away from the road that was joining, which was making a T-junction along Nyakenywa Road. So he went with that road. That road had been previously been a through road, but a reporter with one of the I think KBC, a reporter with KBC was once killed that on along that road. So the resident there decided that the shortcut, the foot shortcut to Naivasha Road should be closed. And so there was only one way to come back and rejoin Nyakenywa Road near the Mormons Church. So this fellow, when he stole the bike, he had a pistol. When he stole the bike, he thought that the road was a go-through. He thought that the road was a go-through, that he would just go through and re-enter what do you call the Naivasha Road and go. But when he went there, he found some gates there. Then he came back. When he came back, that is when people are now surrounding this person. People are saying, "Oh, huyu jamaa wa mahindi, yes, sijui nini nini," and they were in the process of. I had already called the OCS. We were waiting for that. This fellow came with a motorbike, and it is around 3:30. At that time, it is dark, and the motorbike, the light is on. So he came and saw us, and he fired a bullet or two into the air. Kenyans are funny. Some people even wanted to confront him. I shouted, anybody who has been to Kiganjo or any of these discipline services know that shouting, you can shout and talk to somebody very far away. So I shouted to people and said, no, don't confront him unless you have been to Kiganjo. If you have not been to Kiganjo, don't go near him. Run, run. So we left this fellow bleeding and we went back to our plots. This fellow came and rejoined Nyakenywa Road and went. So what happened here was that the police came, took this fellow to a hospital. They took him to a hospital. I don't know which hospital, but the fellow recovered. He even went back to his business of roasting maize, but we never met or anything. Never met with anything. Me, I don't go. I feel I don't like going to somebody and telling him, I saved your life. No. Just like there was another case in Madaraka Estate, Witches Court, where somebody threw his estranged wife on the third floor. Well, she later died. But when she was in the hospital, people would visit her and say how they struggled to take her to hospital. But me, who called the ambulance, me, who called the police at night, did not go to see her. After all, what will I add? People are rushing there. I saw it even when I was in the police. You find that when you have a contact with the bandits, Shift or Ngoroko, the person who goes to announce to everybody, the person who goes and says, hey, tulipigana, is usually, if you check his magazine, he has not shot, he still has all the bullets. So you find that when something happens, those who go around talking about it are the ones who are more or less the observers. So this fellow, when he was taken to the hospital, he recovered. He never died. That is how the crook was found, because it is somebody who was known to him. That is how the crook was found. Because when he recovered in the hospital, actually the crook was arrested within 48 hours. When he was arrested, he said, so and so is the one who shot me. Nikikufa mujue ni nani. Those are what we call in law dying declaration. But he didn't die. He went back to roasting maize again. So he said, so and so is the one who shot me. Now, it happened that they knew each other, and this fellow just pretended to be hiring. Those days it was not called boda boda, a piki fellow. Okay, let us call it boda boda. He hired somebody. Very late in the night, sometimes it is not good to be hired by strangers. So somebody he knew hired him, and when they reached that dark place, he shot him. He believed that he would shoot him and he would kill him. So he would have wiped up the evidence. So as somebody who was somebody who witnessed the thing, I was told to give evidence. I went and gave evidence in Kibera law courts. I said that I had the gunshots, we went out and whatever. So the prosecutor, who was an acting superintendent, which today they call it assistant superintendent, asked me if I saw the gangster. If I saw this gangster, I turned to him and told him, you could not, it was not possible to see the gangster because I had no glasses on. And even if I had glasses on, around 3 to 4 a.m., with somebody riding a motorbike, you cannot identify him. You cannot identify him uh, because he's behind the, the flashlight of the motorbike. So that is when the prosecutor, was an acting ASP, told the magistrate that he had nothing more to ask the witness. Then you see, my attention throughout when I was giving evidence, my attention was both on the prosecutor and the magistrate. I did not look into the direction of the accused person, but even if I would have looked, the accused person was bent and looking to the ground. I think he was trying to avoid his face. And then when he was asked, do you have a question to ask the witness? He said, I have a question. Said, ask. He looked at me and called me by name. JEMO unasema yani hunijui? I nearly froze. I nearly fell down. I nearly died of shock. Somebody calling me, JEMO, umesema hunijui? And looking at him, I saw I knew him. I was so shocked. You know, in any debate, the target should be surprise attack on the person. When you surprise attack the person, then you can control the debate. So after he told me, JEMO unasema hunijui, I was so shocked and whatever. That is when the magistrate told him, shahidi amesema ilikuwa giza, hakuona yule mtu ambaye alichukua pikipiki, so hakuna haja, there's no need for you to cross-examine you when he has not connected you individually to the case. Then he was contented and looked at me and showed me a thumb up, and I answered a thumb up. I know some people would not have answered that, but not everybody is a former police officer, isn't it? So and then I left. Now, how comes that I knew this person? I've just said that when I was giving evidence, he was bent over. You could only see the tip of his head. You could not see him. And then he called me by my name and said, unasema hunijui. Actually, we knew each other for some time, and we even knew each other's name. And this is how it had come to be. At Kawangware, there is a field somewhere near the market. There's a butchery. I think the butchery is called Ndwaru Butchery. I'm not sure, but it's called Ndwaru Butchery. And then there is a portion mill there. Where there is a portion mill, there is then the portion mill is on the eastern side of the field. The bar and Ndwaru, I think it's Ndwaru Bar, is on the southern side, northern side, and on the southern side there is the supermarket called Woolworth. Yeah, Walmart, not Woolworth, Walmart. Yeah. So it is that field there. He used to sit outside the portion mill. He used to around 6 or 7 years before that. Used to sit there, and they used to play drafts. They used to play drafts, and I would pass there. I would see they are playing drafts. The last time I played the draft was the year 1999. Yeah, 1999. But I used to watch the draft. I would even spend more than an hour watching draft. Then around the year, the 2 days before Saitoti said, there comes a day. Yeah, 2 days. That was 15th March. 15th March 2003. I Somebody known to me broke my right leg, broke my uh, foreleg, the right foreleg, and there's my right leg was in plaster. My right leg was in plaster, and I had gone to Kawangware. So imagine having a plaster all your leg, the whole foot, from the place you step up to I was putting on trousers, short trousers that time because of that. So imagine having that, the whole leg. Can I say 60% of the leg or to 80% of the leg was in, the right leg was in a plaster. So when it reached that time, I was to go home, and it started drizzling. It started drizzling, and I decided I have to go home, be it rain or anything. He stopped playing his draft, came and held me. I held him on the shoulder, and we limped as the rain was falling on us. I was determined to reach home, and he was determined to take me home. So when we went there, we became very close friends. We became very close friends. One thing I never asked myself until that day in the court was, every day he was playing drafts. Every day he was playing drafts. I didn't ask him myself how he earns or anything, but I was always thankful to him for having lifted me, acted like my limping whatever, and it rained on us, and we had to travel about a kilometer to, until he made sure I was in my house. Until he made sure I was in my house, that is when he left. Uh, so from that time we became very close, and we could meet, we could talk, and whatever, even after I'd recovered that. So it later happened that this fellow was known to this former maize roaster, and he had pretended to hire him. And when he pretended to hire him, that is when he decided to shoot and kill him. Fortunately, he never killed him, and that is how his identity was known. And that is how he turned to me and said, "Are you pretending that you do not know me?" That is one of the most shocking times in life. Imagine giving evidence to a magistrate for a whole time, and concentrating on the prosecutor and the magistrate. All the time you're concentrating, you're not even looking at the doc to see who the accused person is. But then the accused person later turns out to be somebody you know very well. It is also good that the magistrate clarified that, because who knows, maybe some of his co-crooks were there, and he would be jailed, and they would have followed me. So for the magistrate clarifying that I did not connect him also saved my life, maybe, because those people who knows, they would have even followed me and harmed me. Those are the few minutes I had to spare for today.